They didn't believe in us, but Rod Haynes did. Hey, we on live and we lit, man. We in the building. We in the building, bro. We lit. We're gonna give them time to get in here. We live, man. 10 o'clock at night. Other places, it might be later. Like in Atlanta, it might be 11. We got some night owls in this joint. We got 13 people. That's enough. So we're recording it and they'll get it tomorrow. We're giving you a whole bunch of extracurricular shit because we're trying to be cool, lay low, man. Because they were trying to get your boy out of here, man. Well, we got another banger from our young elder gang. Let me get everything set up real quick. I'm about to get ready to go in, bro. If you just tuned in, you're new to the page, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell. I'm getting the chat pulled up right now, man. Just give me a second. I got to come up with a better way to do this. Hey, Rob Bot, tell everybody that's up in the building, we're about to get ready to crack heads, bro. Who else is doing it? Who else is talking about it? And Rome, it's a perfect time to do this video because this video is connected with Rome and the burning in Rome. The brother Rod Haynes just went on today talking about it. Right? We stay tuned to everything. Young Elder watch everybody. We're watching what everybody's doing. Hey, Rob, about to everybody in the building. We're gonna go and get started, man. We got 16 people. That's enough. Because it's going in the archives. We're just trying to get these old classes out. Might be new to some people. We're trying to get these old classes out before we go into this heavy duty shit, right? All right, so we're dealing with the Nomos, those who claim to know the most, right? And these beings, they really are mixed species. They originate from the original reptilians. Let's see, we got a picture of the Trodacardites, which we Trodacardites, right? We showed you them. Here they go, right here. All right, so these beings are the original species. And keep in mind, there's a difference between certain different species of nomos. Some groups have gills, right? And that's the newer species coming from they're the older species on this planet, but they are newer species coming from Cyrus, one of the older species on this planet. But some beings have gills, meaning they can breathe underwater, like a shark can breathe underwater. It don't have to come up. The shark don't have to come up to take a breath like the whale. See, the animals, they got to come up, take a breath. That tells you that they originated or they have some kind of connection with the land beings, which is why a lot of them come on land besides the whale. The whale too big to come on land. But at one point, scientists have proven that these whales have hips and that these whales was on land at one point. They might have been in water first, then went to land, or land, then went to water. But at one point they was on land. And so you see the different creatures that live in the sea and that live in the water, they gotta come up to breathe. One of the animals that can hold its breath the longest because it's connected with these beings right here, these water beings who came down and landed in the Bermuda Triangle. We're gonna talk about that on the journey of Mothership Nubaru, right? And that class is gonna be coming out tomorrow. But we're going into the Nomos for everybody that's tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We're gonna put the Cash App in the links if you want to show us some love, man. Y'all get other gang, we dropping a number of bangers back to back, man. And it's really all the stuff that we've been dropping, man. That shit been light. That's light. That's light right there, man. The stuff we've been putting out recently was light for the last 15 tapes. It might be heavy duty shit to people that then don't know Islam Maurice. Shout out to brother Marcus Kufi, man. Shout out to brother Peace Hall. Hey, shout out brother Love. Hey, back the stuff that we've been putting out for the last 15 days really been light shit. I got so because I was thinking about, man, you know, I got so much stuff to put out. It's just crazy. I don't even know where to go because I still ain't did the dream scroll stuff. We ain't even taught on that. We only put a little bit out about the scroll of eyes when we talk about the alchemy and witchcraft and stuff like that. So we're gonna put a little bit of that out. And then I still got the doctor's manual, which is almost done. Then I still got the Majesties of America Part 1, which we got a lot of that stuff already we talked about. We laying low on the moral science for a little while. We being cool. And you know what I'm saying? But hey, a couple more days, we're gonna be in the clear. We're gonna be out of the crosshairs. We're really already out of the crosshairs. They like this galactic shit, man. They let these tapes roll. But so certain species got gills. Like a shark is different from a whale, even though they may look similar in some of the shapes. But a shark has got gills, and so it can breathe. It has these different types of cells that can take in oxygen a different way through the gills. And versus a whale got to come up to breathe every certain. I think the longest they can hold their breath is like 2 hours or less, right? But then you got a snapping turtle. A snapping turtle can hold, a sea turtle can hold its breath the longest out of all the animals because they go back to the original species, these beings right here, who are the turtle beings, who are the ninja turtles, who without their shell, right? They put their shell on, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? And so these beings originated from a planet called Meldick, right? From Meldick, which Meldick got destroyed by Mothership Nubaru, bopping into it. We're gonna go into that, like we say, on the journey of the Mothership Nubaru. But these beings crashed down in the Bermuda Triangle, right? And this right here happened long after the Nomos people when they crashed down, because the Nomos people they were already being developed here. Let me show you. So these type of reptilians, the Dragon type, the Dragon type reptilians. Let's see. Now you can see like the different species of reptilian. Boom. So what we did to create the Nomos beings, at first they wasn't called the Nomos at this time. They had another name. They were earlier species, and they had another name. And they stem from the Dragonians and these Tridacidites all the way down, right? These reptilian types. So what we start doing is we start mixing the species of a species from Mars called the Ramadians, or Ramadians, right? This is the species that come from Mars. Hold on, let me pull them up. I'm trying to find them. Show you Creel. Thought I had it saved in this folder. But we start mixing these, and you could they refer to them as grays. We started mixing the grays with these reptilians and created a whole nother species, right? And this is the species we're showing you right here. At some point during the time, okay, there you go, right there. I just seen Creel on there. Okay, this is the Ramadians. All right, there you go, right there. All right, so we started mixing this species of grays with the Dragon reptilians, and we created a new type of species of reptilian, which is why you see, and you have all these genetics in you, which is why you see the stages from it going from a seaman tadpole looking creature, a reptilian, and then as the stages develop in the mother's womb, you start to see the gray or the Ramadian in there too. So both of these genetics is encoded into the 23 genetic strands. They play a part in the 23 different beings that were used to put together the superhuman on this planet, which is why they come here. These grays come here, certain species of them, and adopt you to do certain research because they can advance. They still in the 3 month stage as far as they vessel. Uh, versus you already grown to a full grown being to look like the Anunnakis, to look like the gods, right? So we created these beings, right? By mixing the reptilians with the grays. So it's like one of the first species that was mixed with the grays. These beings lived on land. So when accident happened was some meteorites hit and these older species started to get wiped out. These dinosaurs, the dinosaur species, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they really didn't get wiped out. Most of them just moved to the center of the planet. A lot of them moved to the center of the planet. Some of them got destroyed because they couldn't escape what was happening to Earth, to what was happening to the planet at that time. So some of them went to the center of the Earth. So you can go to the center of the Earth and see these beings that they say they was extinct, they're still living in the Earth, in the center of Earth. And they also found some of the bones of these beings and these rich guys who done bought everything. They got all the Ferraris, they got all the Lambos, they got all the cars, they got the airplanes, they got the girls, they got the houses, the money, the car, they got everything. I mean, but just to amuse themselves, they say I got enough money where I can pay a scientist, since we already got the clones and shit already. They got clones, right? We're gonna start cloning these extinct animals and put them on a secret island, and we're gonna make money off of it, just like the King Kong movie. Right? We're gonna make money off these cats, right? So that's how it's going. But going back to these nomos were here, and the crash took place, and so we started adopting these beings and taking a lot of them to a new system that we had already set up called Cyrus B. I mean Osiris, the star system Cyrus. Let me show you that star system. So they was on Tiamat at first, and then they were moved to another galaxy, which is called Cyrus, and they lived on planet. We placed them on planets that orbit Cyrus B. At this time, they were called like the Nagas, or they had the other different names depending on what species you or what language or dialect you was talking about it in. The Nomos or the Chitauli. Chitauli is one of the words for them. Water beings, dogons, ugly water beings, right? And so these beings were put on this star system where they began to evolve. And keep in mind, Cyrus B is the oldest star in that one of the oldest stars in that particular galaxy, in the Cyrus galaxy. But Cyrus A is a new star that we created, which is really younger than Cyrus B, because Cyrus B was created as a gift to them. I mean, Cyrus A was created as a gift to them because of what we did. They say the Anunnakis. That's why everybody look at us as the bad guys, because we are the risk takers. We take the risks, right? That's why they call us riskians, right? Providers. We are providers. We take the risk to provide for our people, and so we took the risk to set up this platform where we can orbit the mothership Nibiru around, and we set up. Even though we created these stars and gave them to people, they say like we Indian givers. Right? Shout out to Brother Sunrise in the building. And they said we Indian givers. We do some and then we take it back. But that's not true. Shit just happen, man. When you take risks, shit happens when you take risks. And so I'm gonna get to that part, but we come around in Nubaru, and we passed by Cyrus B, and we drained the energy from it because Nubaru. Let me see if I got a picture of Nubaru in here. We're gonna talk about this on the journey of it, but I want to see if I got Nubaru in here. This is a picture of it in a higher dimensional state. But it's one of the energies it run off of is solar energy. And so we pull energy from Cyrus B when we pass by it. And these beings followed us, chasing us, trying to attack us back to Earth again, which was one of their original homes. But when we took these beings to Cyrus, they began to evolve there for millions of years, billions of years. They evolved there and they migrated to other parts of the galaxy from this part. Okay, let's show you. So you got different types, but the original type we just showed you right here in these pictures that Baba had in the holy tablets, right? When we mix the first type of species was a species that were mixed with the grays. When we started to mix these reptilians with the grays, and then we took them to Cyrus, right? This is one of the royal families of the Nomos. We took them to Cyrus, right? And they began to evolve into different species, depending on what planet they lived on, the type of environment. Because you got to keep in mind, we're dealing with it's several different mechanisms that's happening in the universe. One is evolution. Some people don't believe in evolution. Another thing is once you come to the realization that everything has a spirit, everything has a soul. Because what you're saying is a soul is a combination of three things. A willpower, emotions, really emotions. When you're talking about soul, you're dealing with emotions, and that's energy and motion. And anything that's moving has life. Now you might say a tree is not moving. Yes, it is. It's growing. Anything that grows is moving. So if it's moving, it's energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. So anything that that is moving, that is growing, that is moving, has life. It's a living, breathing entity. Plants are living, breathing entities. We got to come to that realization that these things are really alive and have a lifespan. Because if they weren't alive, they wouldn't have a lifespan, right? If plants wasn't alive, then plants wouldn't do what you call death, which they ain't really dying because you can bring them back. And once you realize that, then you say, okay, if I can do this with a plant, can I do this with humans? And then you go to a whole nother level of resurrecting the dead and shit. Start scaring the shit out of people then. Yeah, but we don't want to get too spaced out on them. But several other species travel to this galaxy, to this Cyrus galaxy, and began mixing in with these people. And one of those species that traveled to that galaxy were called the dark-skinned Hindu beings, who came from a planet called Narada, a Procon star system. Let me show you a picture of it. Let me get you a picture of the so you can see the whole dialogue of what we're looking at. Okay, all right, this is a better picture. Okay, so you see where Cyrus is, right? Cyrus A, and you see what the Procon star system is. We already did a tape on the Proconians, and we also did a tape on the Hindu beings. I think it's Galactic 26. And we also break down on the original species of the planet. We break down it. So we already did a tape on the Hindus. If anybody asking about, we'll do a tape on the Hindus. So these Hindus came from Procon. They went to Cyrus and started mixing in with these beings. So you got another species then. You got more humanoid fish type beings. Again, after once they're humanoids, you got the mermaid type beings that they show you on Harry Potter. These, the fish beings, the Nomos, right? The Nomos got gills. They don't have to come up to breathe. I'm telling you, man. But animals like the seal and the hippo can stay underwater a long time too. Like people, like I used to think there was a hippo that can stay under the water the longest, but it's really a turtle, a goddamn sea turtle, right? And that make more sense because they connect more back to the original species than the whale or these other species. The whale has got a crossbreed between surface animals and water animals. So you got different types of nomos. You got the squid, jellyfish, all these different types of beings, right? You got beavers who live in water. So you see the connection. You got, like, when you look at nature, because we like we told you, right? We Sabians observe nature. So we told you to observe nature. 15th been beating you over the head with everybody, all the elders, right? Telling you to watch nature, right? And so if you look at nature, you'll say, okay, all right, a whale comes up to breathe. So that means that whale has got to have, if he got to come up for air, that means he's some connection with him and land. All right, you got animals like beavers, animals like different types of crabs and different types of crawfish and shit like that, right? So you're looking at all these different species and look at the habitat that they live in, and then look at how they live, how they breathe, right? Whether they breathe underwater, above water, and then you start to see the connections and the different species or what species came first. Because keep in mind, this planet was covered with water at one point, right? When we came here, we put the land on the planet. All right, so you got different species mixing in, so you create the mermaids, right? And keep in mind these damn grays, like crossbreeding has been going on. Like people are spooked out about, yeah, we are the neters. Yeah, that's right, brother. Yeah, the neters means the gods, the natures, the nature beings, the natural beings, right? That's right. Uh, turtles are reptiles. Yeah, that's right. Turtles are reptiles. That's what we said. Yeah, like turtles are one of the closest species. Like I was saying, brother Ty, the reptilians, I mean, these turtles are one of the closest species to one of these original species of reptilians. These are troglodytes that was on Meldick. The octopus, right? That's an extraordinary being, right? The octopus, right? Which has got the gray in them. You can see the big head, the gray, right? Because we're gonna do a tape on some of the original species of the galaxy, and that's probably gonna be a big long ass tape, but you can see the gray, big head gray in the octopus. You see what I'm saying? The big head grays, right? The octopus got the big brain on top. Then they are mixed between something else, right? Another type of species. And octopus is considered under the Nomos family, right? But the original Nomos is the beings who lived underwater, and the Raw family, like Credo said, had the rings around their head, and they put one of these beings in Star Wars. Okay, and we're gonna get down to it because it depends on what perspective you're looking from, whether these beings are bad guys or not. Okay, and so and we also connecting this with Rome because the Nomos is the ones who set up Rome. This the information, some of the information that they're using to perpetuate the Vatican and the church and all that is set up based on what these nomos told the people, and but they dumbed it down, right? Because keep in mind the Dogon beings. We're gonna get into that too, man. Okay. It's more like a squid, like the octopus is like the same, like it's going in the squid family and that type of family, right? I like the octopus got gills as well. But when these Hindus mixed in with these fish beings, you got the mermaids. We already put a tape out on the mermaid, so you can go check that out too. Like it's Galactic 38 or something like that. And so these beings were living in Cyrus. They mixed with a whole bunch of other species, right? So you got right now you got over maybe close to 2 million species of nomos in your galaxy. Just on your really just on your planet, a lot of those species are here because this is a data bank. Keep in mind, Earth is a DNA library. Tiamat, a key. It's a DNA library for all the species in your galaxy. This is one of the only planets that got this many species, millions of different insects, millions of different nomos, millions of like thousands of different types of birds, species, different types of insects, different types of humans, right? Different types of humans. You got tall ones, small ones, middle ones, half size ones. You know what I'm saying? Right? All right. So, but these beings come back here when we pass Cyrus B. Some of these the beings, the warrior clan and other beings who really they were neutral beings, and they had a leader. His name was Harton. And let me pull him up and show you him. Let me pull him up. Let me pull you up and show him. Okay. So remember, I told you Ashtar Command, and these beings became known as Ashtar Command because keep in mind, Cyrus B, we passed by, Nubaru burned it out, and so it was the star was becoming ash. So they call them themselves Ash Star because you see ashes when a fire burns out. So they used to call themselves Ash Star Command, right? Or Ash Star Command dealing with the Cyrus B burning out. And so these beings were the original leaders, these nomos. This was the original leaders, right? And you can see the mix over time, how they, with the dinosaur mix, different species were being crossbreeded into the fish beings, right? The nomos beings and Cyrus. So these beings followed us back. They followed Nubaru back to Tiamat, or back to Earth, back to Key. And they landed down and started coming here. Then once they came back, they started coming here, and they started landing here. And if you speed up the time, now you're dealing with them coming down and getting in contact with these beings called the Dogons. And keep in mind, the Dogons and the Twyman, they all connected. The Zulu, these are different species after those original species I told you start mixing in together. Right? Different species like the Twa, the Hindu, and the Watusi, and the Sandsman. Those three, once those four species start getting different combinations from those species, and one of the oldest combinations of species is the Dogons people, who are really the Twa and the Twa man and the Watusi mixing in together. They really Bantu, the same people, And it was a man, a priest from the Zulu nation, which really he was a Twa, because that's why if you look, if you can ever tell it by his dang on name. His name was Krito Mutwa, right? So the name Mutwa, when I know about studying with the master teacher, he said that MU, he said that MU as in like Muslim, a Muslim, right? That's like one who's of, one who's from, one who practice. That term is like one who's of, and then you got Mu Twa. Twa is the Twa man, right? So his name Mu Twa. That means this is Credo, the Twa man, right? That's what his name is saying, right? I'm gonna track that last part into his last name in the chat, man, where you can see it, Mu Twa. So that means that he's one of the Twa. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it's right there, man. Some of this shit is just, I don't know, man. My brain just taking all this damn monatomic gold, just working fast or what, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man. It's just right there. I mean, okay. So now keep in mind, because we're going to connect these niggas, man. Because Rod Haynes saying that we checked it out, man. Rome is burning. And it's coming down to the wire now. So who do they get this shit from, man? Because this is the Ethiopian crown. And remember, I told you that there was a connection between the Ethiopian crown and the damn Pope crown, bro. They wearing the same damn shit. Why is the Pope wearing the Ethiopian crown, bro? This is Ethiopian brother. right? And they were Christians before these Roman Catholics. Let me show you one of the oldest. This is one of the oldest Christian churches on the damn planet, bro, in Ethiopia. Stop playing with us. Who they thought they was playing with, bro? They thought the truth wasn't gonna be revealed in some point in time. Man, you guys to be crazy. So let's get this Pope. I want to get that Pope pulled up, man. Show you that hat that he be rocking. Not the fish hat. We're gonna show you the fish hat, but this Kudo Mutwa, right? He told the story of the Nomos and his people. What? Yeah, it's gonna be. That's gonna be. You have to get there to hook it up. Yeah, here you go, right here. This is the Pope right here, rocking the damn Ethiopian crown. Why? Because that damn shit, Christianity, it goes to ancient Kemet, but it's also got connections with the Nomos beings. Keep in mind, the Nomos beings came out of the water, and they were teaching these people stuff that Inky and them didn't want them to know. Keep in mind, I mean, that not Inky, excuse me, I corrected. That Enlil didn't want them to know. Enlil didn't want these people to know what these Nomos were teaching them. They didn't want them to know that there was other planets, that the other people, what other people got going on. They wanted to keep the information compartmentalized. But these Nomos came here and they were teaching people, these Dogon people, about the star Sirius B, and they were teaching them that Saturn had rings around it. They was teaching them about how many planets they got in the solar system. They were teaching about the people that lived on those planets, these Nomos beings. But then, meanwhile, you got the Pope wearing the Ethiopian crown. What's this all about? Because the Ethiopians is really the ancient Egyptians, and this shit goes all the way back to the Dogons are really ancient Egyptians too, because we told you the word ancient Egyptian is really, Egyptian is really a loose term, like American. It's like a lot of people, even though they might not be original Americans, the Aztecs, the Armacs, the real natives, they still consider themselves to be American if they're born in America. So you got a lot of people like the Dogon can be considered as one of the tribes. And matter of fact, Bible said in a book, if I'm remembering straight, he said in a book that these Dogons were ancient Egyptians. In a book that I think it was, it might be the Let's Set the Record Straight book. It might be the Let's Set the Record Straight book where I seen that. So the Dogons are ancient Egyptians. It might be the Holy Tablets. It's either the Holy Tablets or the Let's Set the Record Straight book, where he said that these Dogon people are ancient Egyptians. Yeah, one who's of, right, Brother Love? So if his name is Mu Twa, that means he's one who's of the Twa, right? What you think about that, Brother Love? It's like right there, man. You can't overlook it. If you know, if you with us and you had the training that we had under the master teacher, Baba Yanun. He probably didn't put that out a whole hundreds of times on different tapes, telling us about the abbreviations, the Mu, as in Mu Salam, one who's of peace, right? That's right. That's what I figured, man. It's right there. You can see it. Mu Twa. He's one. Krito Mu Twa is one of a person. He's a being. Krito of the Twa. So the Zulu got to be. If he's saying that he a priest of the Zulu nation, and this could be the thing too, because keep in mind out of the three families, which was the Afar, the Twa, and the Watusis, the Twa man was considered as like the priests, like they were considered as the holy guys, as the priests of Amen, the priests of Ptah. They had more these Twa man. They were looked at like gods really by the Afar people, and that's why the Afar people were the people who were practicing the Mantu art form and were hunters, and they were real like high level assassins, and they protected these little people, these Twa people. So the Twa people were like the priests. They were like the high order beings. They had high reference. The Twa man back then too. Baba Creel talk about the Nomo. Yeah. That's what we're getting into. We're gonna talk about what the what Quito said too about how the Nomos landed in a shiny craft, right? We had the tapes on my page, but a lot of tapes I had over 800 tapes. You see, I only got like 300 tapes now, so I had to take down almost 500 tapes I had just not to get copyrighted and shut down. They was after me, man. So I had to take down those tapes, 500 tapes, like the whole, at least like 300 of the master teacher tapes. And then I had the Credo Moutoir tapes. I'm talking about the Phil Snyder joints. I had just about every, we couldn't miss us. We had the John Todd joints. You couldn't miss us, man. But we had to take all that down because somebody else put it out first on their page. And for some strange reason, 10, 15 other niggas got it on their page, but I was the nigga that they say, hey, you can't put it up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take it down. Yeah, so we're gonna get into Krita Mutwa. And also you already know the connection between the Pope and the Nomos beings. We already broke that down 100,000 times for you, right? The Pope wears a fish hat. He wears a Nomos hat. So if the Pope is the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, what type of scheme is being played when this guy is giving you, he's dressing like a Nomos, and he carrying the same staff that the Nomos had when they came on land and started teaching the doggone people about these different stars. And the Christians walk a fish on back of their car. And we dealing with also two fish, right? Two fish, which is the sign for the system Pisces. Okay, hold up. Let's look up the age of Pisces, right? The age of Pisces, right, just went out. And we're in the age of Aquarius. But the age of Pisces is dealing with two fish, the Nomos. Nomos is dealing with Nomos energy. Right? Check this shit. That's why Christianity is going out. Christianity was the Piscean phase. Now it's going out. That's why less kids are at church. You think they just because of the type of influence that's happening, and that's part of it. The influence that's happening is right knowledge. When we come into the Aquarian age, it's right knowledge. That's the influence. So it's hard to sell me a whale swallow a nigga for 3 days and swim around underwater, dig it in his ass, and then he come back to the surface and regurgitate this nigga, man. Come on, bro. Kids way more intelligent than that these days. That's a lot of things you can go over in the book, man. What they call in a good book, you know, and it just don't add up. You know what I'm saying? So we're dealing with the Piscean age and two fish. That's another connection. So the Nomos taught these beings of the stars, which is why if you read the Bible, it's really based on astronomy. The story of Jesus is really the Nomos teachings on how the stars move and move through the universe. That's what they taught the Dogons, right? For one example, let me just point this out. If we got anybody that's Bible readers, I had the three stars, the three wise men is dealing with the three stars in Orion's belt. This is Nomos teachings. This is what they call. This is part of Christianity, plus a little bit of the last parts of it being the Goa'uld teachings, which is really the same people. Because you got to think about it. We said that the Bible said that the Dogons were ancient Egyptians. So this New Testament is ancient Egyptian teachings based on what the Nomos said and based on what another group who came with a immaculate conception, which was really artificial assimilation story. These Goa'ulds are these beings from Orion. They came here and they gave the story, which really was took out of context by some Greeks, the children of the Greeks, right? Really, they wasn't even children. Really, they were. We just say the Hyksos. The Hyksos came in and took shit out of context and went back and fabricated this story. But the story of the three wise men and the birth of Jesus actually goes back to these Nomos beings coming here to Earth and telling these ancient Egyptians, which were the Dogon people, that's one particular species of them, because on the walls you can see all the different species, especially when we showed you in that the actual artifact with Norma, and he was marching and he had like maybe a Dogon guy with him and two, because Dogons are a little taller than the Twa man. Right, keep that in mind. The Zulu a little taller, so you got to look at the height, look at the hair texture, look at the eye shape, look at the nose, and you see the connections. Right, so these beings were teaching humans or these Dogons about these different stars, and one of the things they taught them about is about how the sun every 20 December the 21st, I think it is, the sun dies, or what they call it goes to its farthest distance from Earth, the winter solstice, and then on the 25th it's born again, and it's aligned with these three other stars, with the three wise men, and the star that the three wise men follow, the star in the east, right? So all these secrets are encoded into the Christianity in the New Testament, and some in the Old, but mainly this particular teachings is going back to the Dogons, who were ancient Egyptians who were taught by these Nomos beings. Now, in exchange for this information, these beings wanted something, because keep in mind, it's tricky. When you're dealing with the Nomos beings, it's tricky because they are neutral Zord beings. And they actually fought at one point to help humans against the Dragonian reptilians, which is another originating from the same species, but they come from they lived in another galaxy called the Dragonians, and they were more, a lot of them, these ones that migrated, left this planet, because the originals, like Inkinum species were agreeable, depending on what perspective. But then the species that disagreed with them are the ones that were crossbreeded with bird beings and other species. They end up leaving and going to Dragon, the Dragon star system in Orion, and migrating there. But so this is another type of species when you're talking about the Nomos. They the fish beings that got gills. A lot of reptilians, some of them don't got gills. Right, some of them got gills. Right? Or you might not see, it's very rare to see reptilians, free reptilian species. Hey, shout out to Sister Karima, with the gills, right? So all these stories about the stars, even about the red and the blue star. Elijah Muhammad was talking about the red and the blue star every 50,000 years, right? There's red and blue star. So we're dealing with the Nomos teachings, and you think it's a game, right? You think it's a game when they show you in Man in Black some ball Chinian niggas, and you thinking you're not knowing what they got that from, and these ball Chinian beings came from Cyrus, because it's different. You got it's different species that came from Cyrus, because besides the Nomos beings, right? You got the Syrian, and all these beings can be classified as Syrians. Right? All these beings can be classified as Syrians, right? So you got different species, but one was a dog being, the dog type of species, with a humanoid dog type of species that had called ball Chinians. And so they took that and put it in a movie called Man in Black. And now they got you laughing. So when I come and tell you about the ball Chinians, and these doggone people had these masks way before the Man in Black was even thought of. These people had these masks for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years before fucking TV was even invented. So where did they get it from? And people talk about, man, can you prove your extraterrestrial shit? Hell yeah, I can prove it in 3 seconds. Do this. Think of something that never existed, and I'll wait. Just put it in the chat. Think of something that never existed. And we'll pause right there for 30 seconds to wait on what you're gonna type in, because think of something that Tahuti told me, if anybody come to try to defraud you or say you can't prove what you're talking about, ask them this. Think of anything that never existed. Think of anything that never existed. And when you can do that, you know what I'm saying? That'll show you. So if we're talking about some creatures on here, bro, know that they exist because we couldn't tell you about them if they didn't. You see what I'm saying? Shout out Lady Owl. Shout out King Sue. Right? Shout out Knowledge Seeker. We up late with my night owls. My Lady Owl in the building. Hey, we up late. Dropping straight bangers. But what do you think? In Man in Black, they show you these beings, and where do they get it from? The Dogong said that some people came to them that looked like this. They were bald chinians. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get too exclusive, man, because we can't get too crazy. But it's just one species of dolphins. Dolphins are some of the most smartest beings on the planet, right? Dolphins. They use about 7% of their brain, and dolphins can have a connection with certain species of human on the planet because they brought your original germ here in their womb. The dolphin actually means womb. If I'm not mistaken, dolphin actually means womb. So check that out, man. Baba broke that down in the Holy Tablets, I think. What else I want to show you? Okay, yeah, that's what I was going with this. Cause I want to because we was gonna do a whole tape on this, and we still might do a whole tape on this to really break down this species. But when the Dogons encountered these particular species, the Nomos was giving them information in exchange to mix their seed with these Dogon people. So the Dogons end up mixing with these Nomos and creating a whole nother type of species, which is a humanoid reptilian species, which you're calling right now vampires. And you think that vampires are not real. The original vampires are black, or what you call them, dark skin, because they was mixing these Nomos and these Dogon people were mixing. Baba put it in the Holy Tablets. Let me see, can I show you that picture? I think I got that picture saved in here. Where these Dogons people were mixing in with these Nomos. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, I can't find the picture right now. I thought I had it saved in here, but it might have been saved. And keep in mind the geographic location of where the Dogons is located. They located in West Africa, right? Because remember we told you the connection with Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr, right? So these Dogons was in West Africa. So the first vampires is a crossbreed between the Dogons and these Nomos, and they originated out of West Africa. Sounds familiar when Rod Haynes said that some beings got kicked out of West Africa, and then they had to they went to France and Spain, right? These Dogons and Nomos mix, who were really vampires. And if you go watch the vampire movies, they give you the whole story right there. Where they left out of West Africa, and then they sailed up there. They got kicked out. I remember Rob Haynes said they was eating babies, right? These beings. So it's another connection right here, because these beings drank human blood. They live off of human blood, man. That's why they the ones who got the blood banks set up. There ain't that much blood in the world you need. Ain't that much killing going on in the world for all the blood they collect. That blood is to keep these people from coming up. Yeah, the original Dragonian dude, the original Dragon, he black. Dragula, he black, man. And he really a more hybrid species because they mix back in with the reptilians, with the Dragonians that were here, the ones that come from what's the name family, Inky family. So we got reptilians, and I mean these we got these vampires who left West Africa, and they like to live on the ground. They only come out at night because the Nomos, Quito Mutwa said the Nomos, they come out at night and they teach the people. So these beings, watch the True Blood. Man, I just told you, you can't think of nothing that don't exist. So if they thought of it, they knew something about it. They know who these beings are, and they are Nomos, Drake. They are Nomos Dogon beings, the originals. and they can bite people. These originals, the originals can turn other beings, just like they showed you in the movie. Uh, it can turn other beings, the originals, the original. Now they show you they always make everybody white. You already know how they do. If you go watch the original vampires, they make everybody white. But the originals were it's two species of originals. One, the Dracula come from another species. Really, Dracula don't come from the Nomo species, really, right? So I'm gonna break it down for you. All right, so for everybody that's familiar, you familiar with Adam's mother. Adam's mother was a Watusi. So the Nomos also mixed in, and the Dragonians mixed in with the Watusis as well. And the species that came from the Watusis was from Lilith, who was Adam's mother, and she ended up getting disagreeable with what was going on, and she ended up leaving and going and marrying Nomos reptilians and mixed her seed with them and created another. That's why they tell you in one of they in the vampire library book, if you ask them who's the mother of the original vampire of all vampires, and they'll tell you the Queen Lilith. If you study the vampire diaries and shit, right? So we'll make a connection with that, but it's connected with the Nomos. We put all this in the we put all this down in the extracurricular book, the book of extracurriculars, part one, volume 1. All right, so you're dealing with the Dogons mixing in Dogon tribe, right? See, this right here look like the head pieces they got on. They look just like those Nomos beings. This dude right here, right? Harton, the leader. And keep in mind, like I said, these Nomos beings are tricky because at one point they fought they fought on to help us against the Dragonian reptilians, and then they turned and said they weren't with us. And then they turned when they said they was helping the reptilian, we fight the reptilians by giving us knowledge. They was helping us break free from Enlil's game because they had a connection with Enki, and so they were teaching humans different information about the stars and planets. And the reptilians didn't want you to know that. They want you to think like everybody, like all the religious guys think, the real religious guys think that, oh, this earth is just the only thing, and then it's heaven. Heaven is just where God live and angels play around, and so it's like that, right? They don't want to give you the idea that, hey, because the Nomos told, like Quito said, Nomos said that the humans would this is the story that he felt that the Nomos told him. He said that the Nomos told his people that the humans were disagreeable, and so they had to fight the humans and drive them out of the star cluster because they were evil. Yeah, some people say that too. Marcy's Engel, they say that Lily married uh, her son Adam, because back then stuff like that was happening. Like they gave the story of Nimrod marrying his mother, sister and brother marrying, things like that was happening, bro. And it could be another Lilith as his wife, but we know that Eve was one of them. And they can say Lilith was his first wife, his mother, right? We can break that down. Uh, but she did go off and run off and be with the reptilians for a while and created a whole nother species of Atala. So it's two different species of vampires. And the people that was fighting these people is the people that Rob Haynes told you about, the Native Americans. When they came over here, we was fighting against these people. They were some of the first beings. That's why they put that movie out about Abraham hunting the vampires. Man, come on. They play games to see how woke you are. They play these games, put these movies out to see how much you gonna take in and think that this is reality. This is really, really, really what's going on. They do shit like that. But these particular species, what you call the vampires, which are humanoid Nomos beings who live underground, they migrated to France. Then they got kicked out of from over there, like Rob Haynes told you. When they was eating and sucking blood of babies and shit. and then they went then they to escape because the Roman Catholic Church was also hunting these beings. They was hunting these beings down. They considered them as demons, and they what you call it, like possessed beings. And so they was hunting these beings down. So some of these beings, the ones that didn't get slaughtered and killed and get a stake to the heart or get burned at the stake, right? Though some of them escaped and they came to New Orleans first, and then some of them in Salem and Massachusetts, right, and New York, and then they began once the Spanish Inquisition made it over here, and they was coming after these beings. Then some of them migrated to Hollywood and Las Vegas and Utah, and became known as the Mormons. And they live underground, and they the ones that got the blood drive places going right now, where you go and give you $45 for painting your blood. This is the game, man. They go all the way back to the Nomos and the Dogons in Southwest Africa. So the original vampires are Africans. You know what I'm saying? They come from Africa, West Africa, man. A lot of niggas might think we crazy, bro, but eventually all this shit's gonna come out. It's gonna be made clear. They might think we crazy right now. Just like if I would have never showed, if I would have came out talking about the Baltinians and I would have never showed you this picture, you would say, man, the young elder crazy. He got that from Man in Black. Man in Black came out in the 2000s recently, but the Nomos had this shit like in the BCs, or like they had this shit like at least hundreds of years before there was even a TV, man. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man. Shit is like right there as clear as day. You know, even the yin and yang principle is the good and bad. See that type of thinking is finna go out. The good and bad principle is going out with the Piscean age. Now it's no number but one. Good and bad is it's the same thing. It's really balanced. It's really, once you go into a higher level of thinking. So the yin and yang principle was in with the two Piscean age, with the two fish, with the Nomos taught us. The Nomos taught us good from bad. The Nomos is part of that Elohim that's in the Bible. The Nomos is part of the gods who came down in Genesis chapter 6 and mixed with man. The sons of God came down and mixed. They in that same boat with Enlil and Inkinim and several other species like the coneheads, the grays. So it's all kind of species that coincides the Genesis chapter 6 story with the beings coming down from heaven, the sons of God coming down mixing with men. Right? So the yin and yang principle is dealing with the good and bad, right? The black darkness versus light. This principle is really getting ready to fade out. That principle will be faded out, I say, by the way it's going now. If it's because it's gonna go faster than this, I say in the next 7 to 10 years, maybe less than that. Maybe like about 5 to 7 years, that principle of good and bad, yin and yang, light and darkness, all that's gonna be faded out because that's dealing with the Piscean age. You can see the correlation right there with the two fish, right? You see the two fish. It's the connection, man. So we're just really bringing you to on these Nomos, man. So the Nomos, are they good guys or bad guys? Is probably one question that people's asking. The Nomos neutral beings. That's why they came with the good and bad. They got good, they got bad. They're neutral beings, meaning they not good, no, they not bad. They just, they stand in the middle. So that's pretty much the yin yang principle. That's pretty much the willpower you have. You have a decision to make bad decisions, or you have a decision to make good decisions. So it's all so the Piscean age was based on making decisions, whether it be good or bad decisions. The new principle is going to be one mind, one band, one sound, one hide. We're going to move like ants do, like the bees. We're going to move like the bees. We move off of energy. off of sound, off of frequency, the same frequency. We all got to be on the same page if we want what Rob Haynes is talking about to happen, about us natives, us organic people to the land taking back control. We got to do it with our thought. We could do it with our thought by getting the knowledge, by breaking free from people telling us what to think, or telling us, you know, the difference between good and bad when we knew this principle already, man. One consciousness, that's right. One consciousness. So we knew this. We knew this information at some point in time, but being stepped in and religified us and gave us the Holy Ghost, their Holy Ghost, and they ghosts, that Holy Ghost held us down, man, and held us back. I'm telling you, man. Because ain't nothing, the word holy and ghost. So somebody might say, oh, it ain't Holy Ghost, it's the Holy Spirit. Yeah, okay, all right. Man, but these games, this Looney Tune, that's the Looney Tune shit. The Looney Tune shit is that when they telling you what they telling you, it's not Looney Tune, it's the real deal. Jesus is gonna save us, and they telling you what I'm saying is crazy, and I'm telling you some science fiction and some stuff that I made up. That's right, brother love, right? And if you break down his name, you see K Ad Man, Cod Man. That's one of because Adam really Adam really was a species, a whole maybe like 12 men and 12 women of a species of a product that we was putting together for the Homo sapiens. And Adam really wasn't a Homo sapien. Adam is not a Homo sapien. Adam is his people come from another mix that's more genetically bred with the shaggy beings and the Anunnakis and the Hindus, while the Sandsman is a whole other species. But it's the Sandsman is the Enocytes, first people, first classified human beings who are nature beings. Um, yeah, man, but we just wanted to bring that part to you. We might have a part two on this coming out. I think we covered a lot for the night, but we're gonna get ready take a break, man. Hit the sack, man. So we're gonna come back, man. On might give us something. Might have something else for you tomorrow. Different type of class. But we had to get this tape out before the day was over with because we try to hit you with something every day. I think we got a whole bunch more to talk about on the Nomos. It's just right now, I don't want to be talking too long and get too sleepy. We've been working all day, man, trying to think of something, how to start a new business. We got a tape coming out too called "How to Start Your Own Business," and that's what we trying to do, man. I'm trying to get set up to start my own business. So peace and love, man. Serving people seduce. Yeah, right. So those people are I think those people could be tied in with the Nomos and the Dragonians that was already here with Inky and them. The ones that came to the garden, like they walk upright, right, and start talking and teaching the knowledge of God, of the stars. That's the same story, really. You look at it, right, with the Nomos teaching the Dogons about these stars that niggas they didn't even have a telescope, man. They didn't even have a telescope or no kind of technology we got now, and they had already mapped this shit out. The Cyrus and all that. They had mapped out the planets and showed Saturn with a ring around it. Before the scientists of this world, the babies, so they got a telescope even designed to be able to look at it. And then they looked at it and said, "Oh, Saturn has rings." And they thought back, damn, we went amongst these Dagons in West Africa, and they had already had Saturn joined with wings, but they supposed to be primitive. They supposed to be some niggas some lollipop niggas in the like some lollipop niggas in the jungle with thongs and spears. But these niggas showed Saturn having rings around it without no telescope. Now, put that into your pipe and smoke that. You know what I'm saying? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And they tell you they got you thinking that we was some primitive niggas, man. Come on, man. This dude, this beast, bruh, he go for nothing to try to steal the your creativity and joy. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Maurice. Marcus Coovey, that's a good idea, brother. Uh, yeah, that's a good idea. I used to do that, you know. I think I'm gonna set up a website, man, and we're gonna get some shit popping, man. Say herbs and everything. They would eat people as yeah, man, for knowledge. Yeah, that's right, brother love. They would eat people and they were taking virgins. They were taking virgins and mixing their seed with these people. That's why I talk about the vampires, right? The vampires are a mix between these beings who were giving us knowledge in exchange for people. And that's the same thing that was going on in 1953, I think, when they made that deal to give these certain beings over to these graves, these marker beings. And the marker beings were doing all kind of crazy shit. They were pulling people's heads off and putting them on lions, right? See, the Sphinx is really a process of crossbreeding, like a lion and a humanoid face. And these beings, they showed you in that movie Mars Attack. Let me pull it up real quick and show you this. Where they took the human head and put it on a dog. You seen that shit? These were some bad jokers, right? And they say these people came from Mars. So they tell you right in there, man. So these were marker beings. They got Mars right in their name. These marker beings were the disagreeable Romulans. They were Romulans at first who broke off from Creel and them and set up their own organization with Creel brother. And they were the ones who started the war on Mars to cause the surface to deplete. They used nuclear style weapons on Mars. And keep in mind, nuclear weapons is in the Bible. But how you think Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed, bro? Inking them dropped a damn nuclear ball head on their ass. And they turned into a pillow of salt. Ash to ashes, dust to dust. That's what happens. We drop a nuclear bomb on somebody, they evaporate, turn to salt, which was, if you taste ash, it tastes like salt. So if you go back and study Japan and Hiroshima and all that, when that bomb hit, boom, some people turn into ashes on their feet. They're from the flash of the bomb. So that they drop nuclear weapons. You think that all the shit you doing, that's why they told you wasn't nothing new under the sun. And if you think it is, slap your ass. You'll take your own hand, spin in it first, and then slap your own goddamn self in the back of the head. These suckers was already dropping nuclear bombs in the Bible, man. Sodom and Gomorrah got hit with a nuclear blast. Sodom and Gomorrah is the same thing that happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You know what I'm saying? When they dropped a fucking some kind of atomic weapon that evaporated the whole city. And he told Lot to get his ass up out of there and don't look back. Why? Because if you see the flash, that's what gets you. When you see the nuclear flash, that's what gets you. That's why he told him don't look back, because they don't look at this flash from this nuclear warhead going off. I'm telling you, man. Young I ain't telling you no jokes. I'm telling you the real deal, man. So yeah, we out, man. We're gonna be back on tomorrow with you. Yeah, the Grays gave these beings this crossbreeding technology, and they've been crossbreeding all kind of shit down off in Los Alamos, man, down in New Mexico and in Utah, and on these secret islands they got. Some of that shit break out and they wash up on the shore, and people spot it, and they come real quick to come escape that shit, man. During that time, yeah, hey, it was vampires around. If vampires have been around for thousands of years, since the Dogong started mixing in with the Nomos, since the Nomos came here, you talking about that might even be That man, it's thousands of years. It could be over 10,000 years. Uh, like I can, if I do my homework, I actually could probably get a ballpark figure for you of how long the vampires been here. They had to been around the same time that we passed Cyrus B. They chased us here. Boom. Then they probably was here a little while. Then they started mixing in with the Dogons and other species of humans. Yeah. So yeah, man, we just wanted to bring that to you, the mushroom cloud. Yeah, in the Bible, right? It's all shit all in there. How they even break it down in Revelation. It's some blasts up in there too, some nuclear blasts in Revelation, where it says that uh this bomb came down, or this star, they call it a star. I think he referred to it as a star. And he said that it comes down and then it open up a hole in the bottom of the pit, and then smoke arose up like it rise up out of a furnace. That's talking about a nuclear blast. But yeah, but in the Bible and Sodom and Gomorrah, like I said, they got hit with one, which is why they city got turned into a pillar of salt. We'll probably get to that on another class. We're about to get out of here, man. We want to thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show your brother some love, right? We're gonna post the Cash App in the links for donations to the Young Elder Cash. Hey, Rob Bot, man, we love y'all. We thank you for kicking it with us late night. Peace and love. Assured divine love throughout the balanced universe to all. Have a peaceful shadow hour. And we're gonna be back at you again, man. We ain't gonna let off you, bro.